There are about two ways to make sure that I upload. One of them is if Demon 1's playing in a game, and the other one is if Sentinels have lost a game. Well, today one of those things has happened, and on Sunday another one will. Sentinels have lost to GiantX. Now, at first I was going to do the video on Sunset. As you can see by the scoreline, 13-4, it was not good. They got destroyed in a lot of aspects. But the calling from GiantX on Haven, specifically on the attack side, was some of the best Haven calling I've ever seen, and I think you guys can honestly learn a lot from it. Just how well they were able to manipulate the map was great, but I also want to talk about on defense, how they just completely destroyed Sentinels with some of their aggressive plays. The only rounds they won were off of aggressive plays. But before we get into that, I want to ask you guys what you think about this right here, the little spike diffuse thing. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. So I want to get the community's opinion. Let me know what you think about them putting the stats up, and let's get into it and watch how Sentinels got dominated by GiantX. Now, GiantX are down 6-0, and it looks like it's going to be a quick send 2-0. I don't get any views. I'm not happy. But just you wait. Aura up here, I think his name is Aura. I call him Aura because of just the insane plays he does. He pushes up off of that breach stun and goes ahead, gets a kill into the corner. Now, once they've done all that, Sentinels quickly try and pivot over towards C, but there's a problem. West side's over here, and while he is 0-5, he did great this game at anchoring his sights. Right there, completely shuts down the push and effectively ends the round. Now, I've gotten a couple of questions on the Viper comp. Is Viper, good on Haven? What do I think about all of this, right? And Viper is technically better than Breach, optimally. So the thing with the Breach comp is it's mostly a comfort comp. For example, if someone comes to me asking for what I'll recommend their Premier team, I recommend the Breach comp because it's simpler. And you'll see a couple of times here with how Sentinels end up playing the Viper is better, but you have to play it at a higher level, and I don't think Sentinels quite understand how to do it yet. Now, it is something that if you keep having those stage reps and playing it, I think it'll make you better than those Breach comps, but for now, they still seem to be in a bit of a learning curve, especially because Americas didn't present that much of a challenge for them with it. Now, GiantX's push here doesn't work as well. In fact, at first, Aura just dies up here, but they have a backup plan, and that is your two most impactful ults in the comp, depending on how you feel about Neon ult. Just use them, get a kill, take this space back, force them out of it, and then play the round from there. And you'll see right here, they had a wonderful push going up on this, right? As you'll see, Omen just goes over here, able to get a kill, and they just pinched them from all sides except for C. Sentinels weren't prepared for it. I think this level of aggression is almost, and I make this comparison very cautiously, almost like a more controlled Paper X about how they are just not afraid to push up into you, and it worked out very well for them. As you'll see, John is left in 1v3, he's not able to do too much. So that's a second round for GiantX, but you still have a long while to go. Now, I've been playing more ranked recently, and let me tell you, there are some creatures loose in the queues, but that's why I use Flow State. See, Flow State's an alternative to energy drinks that'll make you lock in without jitters or crashes. You are just headshotting. If you don't believe me, believe pro players on top teams like Envy and Qubert Academy that have talked about it working in professional matches. This is the only thing that's scientifically proven to win you ranked games. So do yourself and me a favor by going ahead and going to neuroptima.com, link in the description, getting yourself some Flow State, using code LIONS at checkout for 10% off and to support me. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get back into it. Now, right here, it's 4-8. GiantX have to have the pistol round. If you don't, it is most likely just over. And there are a lot of good calls this round, or excuse me, this half, but this round is just another one. See, a lot of the time I'll see people having questions in my comments or just DM them to me or whatever and say, hey, why do teams anchor on sites so long after teams have ran away? After all, they're clearly gone. Why are they still here and they stick around, they have to play retake on, for example, C? Well, this is why. Now, it isn't done very commonly, but it is wonderfully executed here, where teams will just stick around, wait outside main for 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, however long it takes for them to feel like, all right, the other team rotates off. Then, once they feel like the other team is rotated, whether that's them hearing it or just kind of a gut feeling, maybe dodging some utility, then they'll go ahead and execute. As you can see right here, the timing could not have been more perfect for GiantX. Sentinels just gave it up, and now they're forced to retake here. The Viper Wall can be very tricky for the retake. You can't really play long, and playing sewers as well is kind of disrupted, but a great job of playing on site by GiantX here, and then having the kind of later players out there But I do want to talk about the breach, because right here you'll see Flickless. Great stun. It doesn't get you a kill, but it does let you stall. Again, the same question. How do you guys feel about this, like, stat thing? I genuinely am curious. Let me know down in the comments below. But stalls right there. Stalls again. Zekken's forced to take a kind of isolated fight right there. And then boom, boom, boom. Ends up in a 2v3, but GiantX were so good this game, especially on the attack havoc, getting numbers back from down numbers. They had a lot of numbers disadvantages, like 5v3s, that they would win by taking some aim duels and winning them. John QT not going to be able to win this one either, so GiantX take the pistol and cling to life before executing one of the most beautiful attack halves I've ever seen. Now, I talked about how they were so good down numbers, and you'll see it right here. Again, they get into a 5v3 on the bonus round, a round that should be lost. Generally, obviously, it is. But in a 5v3, it's pretty much unwinnable. I cannot think that any reasonable person expected GiantX to win from this spot, but they did. As you'll see, they have 2 trips to kind of control the extremities of the map, make sure Sentinels don't get a little too big for their britches and overextend into and try for some sort of flanking opportunity. They posture a little bit towards garage, but they don't actually end up wanting to go on this C site. As you'll see here, Zekken goes ahead, fires at Aura a little bit, and they realize that they have B pretty much for free. Zelsis ends up killing Aura Garage, and then they fully commit to the pivot. But again, now, after that fight is missed, or the shot is missed, the fight is lost. Now, 50 seconds left, you're able to get the bomb down with about 45, but what you end up having is, like I said, a 3v5 post plant. You have worse weapons, in a lot of cases worse shield, and not a lot of utilities. Breach util is the only thing you really have online, combined with the dart, obviously. But they work a masterclass, and it all starts right here. The IGL, Cloud, with this Outlaw, does a wonderful job. Sentinels were really concerned, by the way, if you're wondering, oh, what in the world are they still doing A? They were really concerned about some sort of lurk happening. As you'll see, Bang was jiggling that, but it didn't end up happening. As you'll see, Cloud, kill, the spam gets counter spam with that high penetration on the Outlaw. Flickless gets a kill into Zekken and then stalls out Zelsis, but he dies here. Now, 2v3, you're going to go ahead, you have that wall. You have Omen as well with a smoke, and he goes ahead, smokes off the bomb, as you'll see, but he's dead now. So with the bomb smoked, John has to win this fight. Your time is low because you were worried about that lurker on A, and obviously you had, I believe it was Zekken, who was in garage for a while, and he was just worried about another type of lurk, but you cannot lose this fight. I mean, if you're Bang, obviously, but now especially if you're John. But as soon as he loses, the round is pretty much over unless Zelsis can kind of hero play it. There is not a lot of time left. GiantX get back into the game with this one, and you start to actually wonder if they could take this game. This is the only round Sentinels won on defense, but it also made me think they were going to win the entire game. Let me explain. So this pit goes down A. Now it's a good pit, but it does require, I think the caster's pointed this out, narrate to stick around and hold long. It's a pit right there for sewers, but you still have to have someone behind you so you don't get reflanked, which almost makes, I don't want to say it makes it a hindrance, because obviously it doesn't. That is a lot of good map control, but it does leave you, maybe a bit weaker than you would like to be. On other sides of the map, you still are forced to commit 2 people here, even with that pit. GiantX end up going all the way over here. They pivot towards C, where Zelsis has utility up. I like this combination they have with the Molly and the Poison Orb from John. It ends up dinking up Aura a good little bit, especially, if Zelsis' spam was able to connect a little bit better. It probably would have killed him. I think he was on like 50 or 60 HP at one point, maybe like 6, 7. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyways, Aura, as you'll see here, as HP goes down to, just a little bit. Hopefully the spam can connect in the eyes of Sentinels, and it does on the west side. Now, this ult gets popped. I could go into a tangent about how I believe a lot of players overheat with Neon ults. And what I mean by overheat is, like, just use it and then in situations where you're not guaranteed a fight. And I think that it's a kind of underrated ult, because if you have a good Neon ult will win the round for you a lot of times. But then he reminds me why I call him Aura, just peeks, no fear, gets the kill into Zekken. This is something I've noticed. Grubbingho has a lot of times where he'll play these Omen positions where you want your Omen to be so that, it's spammable or whatever and you can get out. But he uses TPs earlier in the round and he's not able to get out of the spot because he doesn't have any TPs left. Now, this is why I thought that Sentinels were going to end up winning. If you'll notice, his ult got popped. He says like off and then dies. Obviously I don't have sound on, but his ult got actually popped there. It just didn't, use. You'll see it with other ults sometimes where a guy gets killed just as soon as he uses it. But yeah, Cloud is forced into spray down, and I seriously thought Sentinels were going to make a comeback off of this. Thankfully for, GiantX, they didn't, but I thought it would happen. 9-9. Now, this round right here will show that even though the calling was great, and I don't think I was able to highlight it as much as I want to. My apologies. I'm on a bit of a time crunch here. But GiantX have shooters. They're very good in the post plant here. But in this 4v4 situation, you're at a spot where your Hunter's Fury didn't get any tags. Your solo controller is now dead. You have to make your way onto the site with minimal utility. You've already used your rechargeables, and you won't have a smoke for CT or Heaven. This is very hard to do. Sentinels end up being very, very willing to retake, which is not good with this Viper comp. I really would have liked, honestly, if they had been more committed to a fight without the smokes, but I digress. Anyways, Cypher goes ahead and cages CT so they can get the bomb down, but Bang kills Westside. Like I said, those smokes aren't down. He was able to just take a peek off of timing. Now I want to look at this fight in the post plant that wins them the game right here. And honestly, for as much as I kind of talk about Zekken, he got baited here. He had to take this kind of 1v1 fight with no real help because Breach is able to swing out, kill Zelsis in the CT fight. John dies Heaven. Zekken dies to the Neon. It was right there. I won't even lie to you though, I did think Bang was going to win this. As soon as he kind of dismantled this crossfire with that kill, I thought he was going to win this. I thought it was going to be one of those send moments, but he didn't. GiantX did a wonderful job here, and I really, really, really think that they're still underrated. So go ahead, show them some love, but show me some love. First, obviously clicking the Flow State links in the description and pinned comment, and subscribing, all of that great stuff. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.